Welcome to the New Orleans Jazz Pop Harp series, produced by the North Shore and New Orleans chapters of the American Harp Society. Today's harp class features Welsh professional harpist Shelley Fairplay. Shelley began playing the harp in 1991. After receiving her master's degree in music from the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, she released her debut CD, The Cherished Harp, featuring her arrangements of traditional music. She is adept in performing on electric harp and the creative use of effects pedals, especially the looper pedal. Shelley performs throughout the UK and internationally, including in the US and China. Shelley has an online harp school called Start Harp, with courses for all levels. You can learn more about her and listen to her music at harpwales.com.
Hello, my name is Shelley Fairplay and I'm very excited to be part of the New Orleans Jazz Pop Harp series, so thank you for inviting me to be on board. I'm going to share with you two major ideas, I hope today. One of them is my favourite pop with pizzazz go-to idea, and so this is actually going to be a little rhythm that we're going to work on, and then I'm going to show you how it can you put underlying all sorts of things in your pop, and if it's a rhythm you're not familiar with using a lot, you're going to start hearing it everywhere in your pop songs and in other genres too. The second, I'm going to talk about more of a sort of behind the scenes idea, I suppose, something that's across the board, again, across genres, but that I feel really helps give us power to our popping, a power to our pop playing, and we'll go straight into that now. So, I'm actually going to start with the second thing. I would like to talk about accenting, okay, as being one of the things that I feel is a major major part, of when we're playing pop music. How we can make it really come alive, really have the energy and the drive that we often get when we're listening to a pop track, or the heart and soul if it's something, slower and softer. And this is really this idea that if we have complete control of our fingers and we can produce the accents and the little nuances, then we can really, micro phrase the melodies. So when we're trying to copy the singer, which is often one of the leading parts of a pop track, isn't it? If we're trying to make the sound like the singer's voice, then the more control we have of our fingertips, the more we're able to, have one finger slightly louder and slightly more of a squeeze, and then fast articulation, slow articulation, all that kind of thing going on in our hands, then the closer to shaping like the voice we can get it. And so I think that's one of the reasons why accenting is so powerful in pop and in all genres too, but I'm really pushing it with pop today. And the second reason I think it's so important is because if we're trying to play something rhythmical, and most pop tracks are really rhythmical, okay, you might get a really slow ballad, but even so, there usually be an underlying pulse. Pop songs tend not to pull the tempo around as much as some other genres, and I believe that, I think that's a fair comment. So this being able to accent to pull out rhythms, because if we're copying a band playing a song, then we might be trying to be the drummer, the singer, the bass player, the rhythm guitarist, the lead guitarist, the maybe strings, maybe keys, whatever. We were trying to do so much, and we have this incredible instrument, where we can have the bass player, we can have the rhythm section, we can have the melody line, and we can have all of that, but we have to, I think, work at it, don't we, to be able to make those layers really shine and to get that accenting. So we're going to start off with a warm-up, please, if that's okay. If you'd like to have yourself in C major, have your harp in C major, that would be perfect. And we're going to start with something very humble and not very exciting and not very poppy. We are going to start with a C major scale. Forgive me, it will get more exciting. Okay, so we're just going to play a C major scale. I'm going to count you 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to play the C major scale on the 1, 2, 3, 4 on the whole count, okay? So you ready? You can do it both hands, you can do just one hand, okay? Just one octave up and down. I know this is super not poppy, but we're just going to, bear with me. Go with the flow for a moment. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C, D and E and F and G and A and B and C. Coming back down, B and A and G and F and E and D and C. If any if this workshop feels too fast or too slow, remember you're watching me on a recording, so you can rewind me and watch again. And of course, there's usually that ability, isn't there, to speed up the video or slow it down as well. Okay, so here's the thing. If we're working on accenting, we're working on our pop. Here is a little warm-up activity that I recommend you work on if this isn't solid yet. Or even if it is, it's just a good thing to keep practicing. Where we're going to work on accenting different fingers, and we're going to keep it, a foundation sort of idea today. I'd like you to, first of all, play that scale again and only accent finger 4. So what can we do to accent finger 4? We're going to be thinking, well, we're going to be strong. We're going to try and maybe squeeze the string extra hard. If we're squeezing the string, we then want, the string might bend very slightly out of position. We want to then squeeze and release the string whilst it's got that most pressure on it, which will make it sound strong, won't it? And, if you bring your finger in slowly, you're going to get a sort of a nice sort of rich tone to that as well. Or you could bring it in fast if you want it to have maybe more of a slightly sort of rhythmic edge to it. Okay, and then we're going to use like butterfly feet for the other fingers. We're going to be going strong and then soft, 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 strong, soft, soft, soft. And I'm really exaggerating there. I didn't even go for a beautiful tone, did I? I just went for a strong, a loud sound. Okay, so think of that squeeze, think of bringing your finger in, and then you can do those little butterfly tones then for the rest of them. So just accenting 4. We're going to do 4 of these scales, and we're going to accent each finger before we move on to something a bit more poppy. But this is because I'm so passionate about the belief that accenting is king, both for the melody line and for the rhythm section when you're playing pop and in all genres, then I believe that this is a really, really good warm-up. So there are others, but this is one for today. Here we go. Accenting 4. Again, playing on the whole counts. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and strong, soft, 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 strong, soft, 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 strong, soft, 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 strong. Brilliant. And of course, if you're a more advanced player, now you can be going up double hands. You can do 4 octaves. You can make this workout, this exercise to be good for you at the level you're at. Okay, we're now going to do we'll swap hands. We're going to do left hand and we're going to do finger 3 accenting. So again, you can think of, light, soft touch or releasing late on the soft sound. And then with the strong sound, you're going to squeeze and you're going to bring the finger right into your hand and you're going to release when you've got the string with a lot of, with that pressure onto the fingertip. Here we go then, the squeeze, yeah? 1, so just finger 3 is the accent, the others are butterfly. Light touch. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you've got soft and loud and soft and soft and soft and loud and soft and soft and soft and loud and soft and soft and loud and soft. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Swapping hands then, I'm sure you can guess what we're doing next. We're going to do finger 2. If you find this hard and you can't get too much of a change in volume at the moment, or the fingers aren't necessarily doing what you're hoping for, one of my tips is tap the finger that you'd like to be louder and say out loud or in your head, right, finger 2, it's you who needs to be stronger. You're going to have to squeeze, and somehow this physical contact with the other hand tends to help. If you're working on cross fingering or anything like that, just using physical contact with the other hand seems to help. It's just to tell your brain, oh, okay, it's that one she means. So it's worth a try if you're finding this a bit tricky. Okay, so finger 2 accenting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and soft and soft and loud and soft and soft and soft and strong and soft and strong and soft and soft and strong and soft and soft. Okay, brilliant, fantastic. Swapping hands then to the left, okay? We're going to do strong on the thumb this time. And the thumb is often the one that most people find easiest to make a strong sound, or a lot of us do. If you do not, here's my tip for you. Really think about your bow. So when you play the thumb, you're playing on the edge, aren't you, of the thumb, and then take the bow over. And if you're aiming for that bow between here and here, and you've got that ability to really squeeze the string with a confidence, you're not going to knock neighbouring notes and all that kind of stuff. So really take the bow. Okay, we're doing left, aren't we? That's right. Okay, here we go then. Strong on the thumb. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and soft and soft and soft and strong and soft and soft and soft and strong and soft and soft and soft and strong and soft and soft and soft. Brilliant. So pop music, I really recommend, maybe doing a little warm up like that until that's really comfortable. And as I say, expanding it out into 2 octaves, 3 octaves, 4 octaves, hands together, upping the tempo on the metronome, so that you work on that. Lovely. Okay, fantastic. So I mentioned the second, and I'm going to get into all of this in a little bit more depth in a minute, but the second thing I said that I was going to talk about was a favourite go-to rhythm that I like to use. And this rhythm happens everywhere. I use it all the time. When I first put together a pop course for my online harp school, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a pop course. I've got loads of ideas. I do loads of different stuff when I'm playing pop. And interestingly, when I first sat down to write the course, I was like, wow, you do use that rhythm a lot. So there's this one rhythm that I use in lots and lots of different pieces. So I'm going to share it with you because you can put it under any tune and make your tune sound like it's poppy. So if you're doing something in a hurry, you've got a lead sheet and you've got to get a song quickly sounding poppy for something, use this rhythm in the left, and you will find that it will really make it have that energy straight away. Here's the rhythm. It's a rhythm that I'll play it first. Actually, it's this rhythm. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so we're going to think about this with the counts first of all. You're on 1, nice and easy, so that's 1. Okay, if you can clap with me, I'd really love that. I know I can't see you, but I know that you are there, hopefully, when you are watching this, and so we're going to just clap together. So I'm just going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we'll just do 1. I know that's super simple, but let's just get in the zone. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, brilliant. The next one comes on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and. Okay, so 1 and 2 and. If I count you 3 and 4 and, will you clap with me? 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. And again, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Perfect, okay. The final one comes on 4. Some people find doing these rhythms easy and others of us have to work at it. And I am in with you on that. I've had to work at this stuff. So if you do need to work at it again, remember you can watch this, you can rewind this and watch it again until you're comfortable with it. But let's give it a go. We're going to add in that 4th beat. It's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's do that just once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Perfect. Let's do it again this time as a loop. So we're going to go around and do it like 4 times in a row. On the 1, on the and of 2, and then on the 4. In fact, before we do this, I'd like to ask you, invite you to do one more thing. Can you, if you're not already, because of course, if you're a seasoned popper, then you're going to be doing this already, you'll be thinking the counts in your head, but if you're, I would like you to verbalize the counts with me. Could you say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and as you're doing this? So we'll be saying out loud and going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I know it's multitasking, but of course, if it's challenging to do that, it's definitely something we want to practice because we want to be able to do that. And if it's easy for you, then it's fine. We'll just do it. Here we go. So we're going to say out loud the counts as well as doing the clapping. I'll count you in 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 last time and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Brilliant. Lovely. Okay, so let's try that on the harp. Let's just try it on a C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So find a single note C, right or left hand, don't mind. And let's play it. Now, I realise I'm straight away going into damp mode. We'll talk about that a little bit today, I hope. But you don't need to. You can do it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, if you want to. Okay, so let's try it on a C, doing that rhythm, and we'll do a loop of 4. So 4 times the same thing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and C and 2 and 3 and 4 and again C and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 last time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Amazing, brilliant. Okay, so that rhythm, and you can obviously fill that out now if you want to. You can try it on a triad of C, depending on your ability. You can do 8-note chords, I don't mind, or you can do whatever you want, that's fine. But if we did that 2 and 3 and 4, and you can make something, twinkle twinkle. Obviously, it can sound quite soft, or you could be thinking and 2 and 3 and 4 and. How it can, just on even something very simple like that, it can make it sound to have a different energy, really. So I'd like to try one last thing whilst we're in the warm-up phase of this, okay? We've got that little rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 that we just worked on, and we've also did scales, didn't we? Very simple, humble scale. Now if we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we can do 1 and, actually I'm just going to pick the tempo up on that, 1 and 2 and we'll take it at that tempo, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and you can make this into a warm-up as well. So you're practicing that pop rhythm with the scale. You can come down as well. Okay, so we're going to try that. Now at speed, that's a little bit challenging. I don't know anyone's ability who's watching this, so for the fledglings, be kind to yourselves. For the advanced players, you make it as fancy as you like, okay, and as fast as you like. Pause the video and have a play around. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk you through it really slowly once so that you can practice it if you want to. With a lot of this rhythm work, once you've cracked it and you can do it on autopilot, and by autopilot I mean being able to do it whilst talking or reading a book or something, if you know that you've really got the rhythm, then you can then put the melody, which happens to be the scale because we warm up, over the top without having to think the counts and how it lines up too carefully, because you've got the groove going and you can get that playing with the left, and that's a great place to be. But often we have to work to start with thinking, where does everything line up? So that's what I'm going to show you. If we were going to line it up, I'm actually doing an octave in the left. You can do single notes or chords, doesn't matter, on the C. If we're thinking of these as the ands, okay, then it's together on the beat 1, isn't it? 1, and then you got right on its own, and 2, but then do you remember the and of 2 was where the second beat went for that pop rhythm? 1 and 2 and. So should we just try that? Single note in the left, 4 notes down in the right, okay? And remember, if you want to make it easier for yourself, you can do finger 2 on that little scale instead of 4, 3, 2, 1, depending on, fledglings and advanced players. Be comfortable, do something that's going to feel good for you, okay? Think of this as a library of ideas, what you're ready for, take in now, and what you're not. Push it away to the back of your mind and it can come out when you're ready, okay? So we're going to go together. I'll just talk you once through it one more time. Together, right, together. That's that 1 and 2 and. Should we try it? Here we go. 3 and 4 and. Together, right, together. Let's do that again. 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and. Again, 3 and 4 and. Together, right, together. Brilliant. Okay. For those of you who are up for this challenge, we're going to carry on up the hill. So we played the C of the C, and then we played it with the F, and then we're going to play it with the B, because that's the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Yeah? So the B is on, it comes on beat 4 if we're thinking of the scale notes as the ands and the whole counts. And then we're playing this on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just one last talk through and then we'll try it. Together, right, together, right, together, right. Yeah? Got it good? Should we try? Let's do it slowly. 3, so octave or single note in the left or chord, whatever you want to do, and 4 notes down in the right, or ready to do it all with finger 2. 3 and 4 and. Together, right, together, right, together, right. One more time, even slower. 3 and 4 and. Together, right, together, right, together, right. Yeah? Okay, so, if you put that together as a warm-up, you can obviously move chords. Okay, and then you heard I started to want to accent my scale as well on that rhythm. So you can really get into these my two things I'm sharing with you today, which is that pop rhythm that you can use with most pop songs to make them sound like pop music straight away, even if you don't listen to the track and you just really need to quickly get something that sounds like you're playing in pop. And then the second thing of all, you're practicing the accents, aren't you, as well? So it puts those two things together. Right, that's the end of the warm-up phase of this workshop. So the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to screen share now a little video of me playing a pop track I wrote called When the Time Is Right. Now, when I'm talking, you might get a slight double sound on this, but you can watch this video separately. So just bear with me. I'm just sharing it with you for the teaching idea of it. So I want to go a little bit further into that rhythm that we just talked about and talk a little bit more about accenting, and we'll try a few snippets together for the rest of the session. So what you heard there was you heard a little rhythm. So I was playing a row of notes. You also heard a riff, which we're going to look at in a minute, layered up. And then you hear the tune here. Oh no, the bass line. Okay, brilliant. So you heard that bass line, that dum dum bum ba dum ba dum. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. And then I think you hear the tune. Yes, that's the tune. Fantastic. Okay, so you hear the tune there as well. At the very beginning, one last thing I'm going to show you, and then we'll go into trying some bits. You've got the strummed chords introduction here, because you hear it in the chorus, you get the strummed chords coming through. So what I'm going to show you now is I'm going to show you the score of it. So if you I'll just bring up a screen share on that, and then we can have a look together at the screen share of that. Okay, so this is called When the Time is Right, Unashamedly Gorgonzola Pop for Harp Ensemble. So it's actually a harp ensemble piece that I just recorded as a solo at some point to share, and so I'm sharing it with you. And here's the thing. So we've talked today about accenting, and we talked about that pop rhythm. So you'll notice at the very beginning, we're going to try this first little row of notes for harp 2. So this is on a score, so if you don't read music, doesn't matter at all, or if the score is like bleh, doesn't matter. I'm just going to talk you through some little snippets. Okay, so we're on a C. Can you see it's in 4/4, and then we're on a C in the right hand. Okay, and what we're going to do, we're also going to take note of the fact it says xylo, because often with pop things you'll find that lots of the extended techniques can be really handy for getting some of the different textures and things that we might want to layer it up to make it sound exciting and interesting when we're playing. Okay, but here's the thing to notice. Look, there are accented notes here. Now, very often in written out pop, if you're working, some of you may work from piano scores or lead sheets or things, there are not accents written in. I've written these in because I've already told you it's something that I think is really useful to put in. But sometimes we have to really listen to a recording, even if we are playing from written music and we're not just doing it by ear. We have to really listen to the recording to hear where the musicians who are playing in the band or the group, whatever, are putting their accenting. So just be aware of that. But I have put it in. So first of all, we're going to ignore all accenting and the xylophonic effect, actually. We're just going to play bar 1, 4, but 4/4 on the bar. You're playing on 8th notes. You're playing on the quavers. We're just going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, you ready? 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, brilliant. So we just played that. If we were in a room together, particularly an ensemble, this is so pronounced when we start changing things, but there we are. So we just played that. If we just saw a row of notes, we might just think, okay, I have to do some C's. You might be a very good harpist and think, right, I should change my fingers. You might think that. You might be like me and just think, I'm going to do finger 2 here because that's easy. But whatever, it would just perhaps sound like a row of notes if we were not thinking too much about the accenting. So first of all, let's add in the xylophonic effect. So get your left hand, I'm going to use finger 2, and just touch on the hole, on the the soundboard, the hole that the string goes through at the bottom of the string there. And you don't need to put pressure on the bottom of the string here. Just rest your finger against it. If I put pressure on it, it can change the pitch. But if I just rest my finger at the very base, if I touch the hole in the edge of the string, I get a really nice xylophonic effect. Okay, it just makes the note not have quite such a big ring. It makes it more percussive, in fact, doesn't it? And we are trying to layer this to make it sound, be able to be more like a group of instruments. So, okay, so we're just going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this time. Okay, so let's try it. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now I already think that has more possibility of sounding rhythmic than did. So So I don't know how you feel about that, but I think the xylophonic effect can help with that. And then last but not least, we have the accents. Now, where are the accents? This hopefully, should you be like, that's interesting. Hopefully this should immediately make you think of something. Look, it's on the one, and then and, two, and, three, and, four, and. Haha, did that ring any bells? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's the rhythm we did, isn't it? That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's that very commonly used pop rhythm. Okay, so accents, so strong pluck, strong squeeze, 1 and then softer, and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And because we're trying to be percussive, I think something that I've had to really let go over the years, because I was classically trained really through university and things, I've had to really let go of feeling, I shouldn't do that because it's not what we're supposed to do at the harp. But actually, if we're trying to make something sound like pop music, we have to sometimes throw some rules out of the window, I think, to get some of the energy and the drive that we want. So really hammer into them. So should we try it together a bit slower? We're going to be going loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, soft, loud, soft. There is an easier way to count this if you found counting hard, but I am such a stickler for counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm reluctant to tell you, but you can think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I don't love that so much, particularly in an ensemble setting for counting, because you lose the position of where beat 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are, but it does make it easier to remember the accents. Okay, so let's try it together. 3, just 1 bar, 3 and 4 and. Loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, soft, loud, soft. Okay, so that's the first example we've just looked at, is that rhythmic opening. And we talked about how we could just play it as 4 notes. If it was just written on a piece of music, that's how we might interpret it, because there would be no guidance there possibly on lots of the ways that we can take in written pop. There wouldn't be anything written like that. There might be, but not always. So then if we think, it's meant to be percussive, maybe you can use one of the effects on the harp, like xylophonic effect, and then you might listen to it or decide yourself that you're going to use that underlying pop rhythm that we've talked about today to help add texture. And I think it transforms it from just this to... Personally, I think that's a big change. Okay, fantastic. So the next thing we're going to look at, here's another this is still accenting actually. At letter A, at bar 5, don't worry if you don't read music, doesn't matter, I'm going to talk you through it. There is the beginning, it's kind of an introduction actually, but it's hinting at the tune, and it goes like this. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I just do that again. Okay, so it's on beat 1 and then 2 and then 3 and 4 and. There's the interesting thing. Often in pop music, and again in other genres, some other genres too, the melody, it's almost like instead of going, beat 1 is pushed back to the and of 4. So here's what I mean. Rather than going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I always think of the words, when the time is right. And if you think, when the time is right, then that puts it onto beat 1, okay? Dun, 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 dun. It sounds fine, I'll say, dun, 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 dun. You wouldn't think anything was wrong about that, would you? I'll do the next bar. Dun, 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 dun. You wouldn't think anything was wrong with that, but if you hear like the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, that before the beat thing, that making the and of 4 like the most important beat of the bar rather than beat 1 really switches things up. Now be wary. On simplified piano scores that we get with pop, often it's been rescored and they've put things to go onto the whole beats because it's easier to read. It cuts out these confusing ties. It cuts out untethered non-barred quavers, 8th notes and 16th notes and stuff. So watch out for that. Trust your ear, okay, as well. Shall we just try it though? Because going back to accenting as well, we're used to, perhaps, depending on your background, you may have done sort of, classical training stuff where we think of beat 1 as the most important. I'm encouraging you, when you ever see this happen, where you get that, the ties are really good sort of flag for seeing it. But if you see the ties that you can see on the screen here, and you're playing on the and of 4, and then it's tied to beat 1, then treat the and of 4 as being as important as a beat 1. It's become the beat 1, if you like, and then it's the pulling against that, and then the accompaniment lines that make it have another end, have part of this poppy energy as well. I believe. Okay, so we're going to try it. We're going to play a G and a C and an E in the right hand, please. And you're going to play them as a block chord. It is a C second inversion chord. Okay, we're going to play it on beat 1. And we're going to play it on beat 2. And we're actually going to play it on beat 3 as well. Okay, so we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and first of all, okay? So let's do it together. We'll do it slightly slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Totally unremarkable, right? Okay, so far nothing is just playing on whole counts. Easy peasy. We're going to then bring the thumb up by just one string onto an F, which then gives you the chord G, C, F. Okay, so we're going to do the 3 that we just did with the E on the top. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you got to land on the and then with the thumb on top, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and. If I'm too fast, remember you can probably slow me down, or you can pause me and try it slower, or you can rewind this and try it again. So let's just do it again. I'll do it a little bit slower as well in real life, in real time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Brilliant. Now we're going to go back to the original shape, which was the G, the C and the E. But when you land there, make that one the biggest one. And you're going to accent that. And here's one of the ways I'm going to encourage you to try for this. Bring the full articulation, fingers right into the palm of your hand. So thumb bows over, doesn't it? Fingers come into your palm. And then you're going to let it ring. So you've got that bum, 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 bum. So that 4 becomes, that and a 4 has become bright and full and rings because of that power behind your articulation. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I am doing other little things which I can't help but do. I'm actually doing some very fast stab chord style damping. I'm going back onto the strings very fast, which gives you that kind of zup behind the note. Sometimes really zippy, and I like that. That's not how I would do it if I was playing classical music. I would be trying to avoid that like the plague, but because for this, maybe not quite so buzzy on the thumb there, but I do like this kind of zip behind the note. So can you hear that changes that from me just going, and I'm putting that on beat 1 deliberately there, okay? But if instead I do stab chords and I make the and really powerful, isn't that so different? So there's another one of my favourite things to share with you there with the accenting. Okay, I'm going to scroll through the score. There was a couple of others I want to show you. Okay, this bass line at B, okay. I can't play it in the octave written. If you've got a pedal harp with you, you can do this where it's written. It's much cooler down low, okay? But I'm going to have to play it on middle C. Okay, I'm just going to play it without any damping, and it's going to be a bit buzzy, but we're going to do it anyway. It goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3, da, da, dum, da, dum. I might keep going. Let's find the next bit. Now, rhythmically, that was, I believe, what I'd written. Let's hope so. And there's nothing wrong with what I just did. You know, I played all the notes, but particularly if I was playing an octave lower, this would be very muddy, and I'm on this electric harp, so everything rings. So for clarity, and for which sort of comes into, I suppose, into accenting in sort of way. So if we think then of an accent of our speech and the way that we slur and join things together, it's not quite. But anyway, I'm going to put it in the same category. I'm doing, again, fast damping. Now, I would go different ways with this. I might with the left hand do it all with a two-faith thumb, like that. Or I might do it all with just really precise, it's a bit fuzzy. I might do it just with going straight back on the strings. Now this takes work, but if you add that, then if you've taken away then the long drawn out prolonged harpy, very resonant stuff, and you've added in instead this sort of staccato, and I know that's not true to score, but the energy behind it then is powerful, I believe. And then you couple that with some accenting. Do you remember I talked about making like the and a 4 important, for instance, any offbeats? Then you can be thinking bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-dum. So can you hear I'm doing da-dum ba-dum ba-dum? I'm really accenting the and a 4. So again, do you want to try it with me? Should we do it? Dum dum ba-dum. Let's just try doing that. We're going to go just do it with one hand or two. We're just going to try and make the and a 4 more important than the others. Dum 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 ba-dum Let's try it. So instead of just going C, 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 B, C, first of all, try it with me like that, actually. You're just going to play C, 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 B, C, okay, without any damping, without any accenting. So I hope you've probably picked that up by ear, but rhythmically we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you're on the whole counts, 1 and 2 and 3 and... One time, sorry. Whole counts the first two, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the second two on the and a 3 and the and a 4. Playing the whole thing for you, and you can copy it back. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1. So we're going to go C, 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 B, C. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 4 and C, 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 B, C. Right, now we're going to try adding in the damping. So if you are not familiar with the two-fey hand, I can't teach that right now because I'll run out of time and have you here for hours, as much as I'd like to do that. But we're just going, so don't worry about it if you don't, but if you do, you can try the open hand and do it with the damps, okay? So if not, do it the same way again. So we're going to just keep it no accents, but with the damp. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Brilliant. And now we're going to add in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you're going to get ba-dum, really make ba, B up the B, the and of 4. Quite important. You ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and great. Can you do it again? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and dum, dum, bum, ba-dum. So I really lent into that B. So that's another place where, showing you with the accenting and the fact that, if we just read this as a score, we might play it like that, but changing it and going dum, 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 ba-dum, completely changes it. I hope you agree with me. Okay, now I think this will have to be the final thing because I expect I'm taking forever on this session, but I will show you this riff. So in the song you hear... your ear might have picked up my left hand did that rhythm that we just looked at. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and I'm damping. And then with the right hand I played a riff and I didn't just play the notes as written without any accenting, which of course does sound nice, as I say, like all these things, anything we do sounds nice in the harp. It's not that and at certain times that would be completely great as that, but I'm also trying to bring out those notes of that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 for character, and then da 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 da, even in the run 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can hear that I'm accenting those too. So let's try a bit of this together. We're going to find, in fact it's the same shape we were using a minute ago, we're going to find the second inversion C chord, so think of 3 on a G in the right, 2 on the C and thumb on an E. The first notes go, you descend, you're going to go E, C, G, okay? And then what happens is, well, let's play that together actually first. We're going to go 1 and 2 and stop. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Lovely. Now what happens is that the thumb moves up. Instead of doing G, C, E, go from the bottom up, you're going to be doing G, C, F, okay? Which actually, the thing we did at the beginning did exactly this as well. Your thumb's going up to the F. So you do E, C, G, then you do F, C, G. Should we try it? We're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? Remember, pause the video and try it at your own speed that suits you if this is not right, good for you, or speed me up, slow me down in the video if you can, if it works that way. Okay, so we're going to be going E, C, G, F, C, G, stop. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and lovely. So it's like the thumbs did a little scale, didn't it? Well, you can't really call it a scale. It played 2 neighbouring notes, but it is going to do a scale because it's now going to go up to G. So the thumb's job in this bar, we're doing bar 13, unlucky for some, but you don't need to worry about the bar numbers because I'm giving it by ear. Okay, we're going to go E, and then it's going to go F, and then it's going to go G. So just to play the whole bar, I'm not playing the whole bar, that's one note short of the whole bar. We'll just go to there first, actually. So we can do that much. So finger 2 and 3 are just sitting around playing on C and G, C, G, C, G, but you're playing the thumb moving up 1 string at a time. Okay, and we won't do the last note of the bar yet. So let's do E, C, G, F, C, G, G. Okay, together. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Brilliant. I did the last note without meaning to. I'll do it right out, like I said. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Brilliant. Now the very final thing, finger 2 comes back and plays the C. But because we're playing in a 4/4 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we've run out now of any space for finger 3 to join in and do its G, because there are no more ands left, yeah? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and funnily enough, that means the thumb's then doing that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's also outlining that poppy rhythm. I told you I put it everywhere, didn't I? I've deliberately chosen this piece to share with you for that reason, though. So let's try it. We're going to go together, dun, dun, dun. Slower than that, though. We'll go dun, 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 dun. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Now I immediately put in accenting there. I didn't mean to. I meant to play it without any accents, okay? But what I'm going to encourage you to do now is to try it with thumb strong each time. Dun, 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 dun. And again, if we were in a room together as a group of harpists, you often can hear quite a good change. Okay, so let's try it with the accenting on the thumb. So strong, soft, soft, strong, soft, soft, strong, soft. Take a squeeze and a bow if your thumb isn't wanting to be louder. Remember the squeeze and then the bowing over will help with that. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So, and if you like that, for anybody thinking, yeah, I really want to try that, if you put it in the song, it has a C and then, hang on, what is it? It goes down to the A minor. C, and then it goes to A minor. Then it goes to F major. Then it does a scale. I'm doing this super quick, but you can watch this again if you want to do the whole thing. It goes E, D, C, B, C, D, E, D, and then it goes back and does the riff bar we just learned with the C underneath. It's just quite fun to play around with. So there we are. So another example where accenting can really make or break, I think, a pop tune. And I think that's probably as much as I need to show you, because after that it'd be going into the melody. Oh no, there is one last thing. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep you for one more minute. The strummed chords, okay? If we're thinking of playing strummed chords, and if you've never done these before, this is going to be a whistle-stop teach of this. But again, accenting I really think is king. You know, having taught this in ensemble, when you hear this played, you know, there's accenting, you know, there's so many ways we can move our fingers to strum. And for I find often with pop, you know, I might be putting a rhythm through on my looper. For instance, I've just put that rhythm and then you can have that. So, you know, what you're hearing is strong, soft, soft, strong, soft, soft, strong, soft, soft. If it was a pitched one, so there was accenting is what I'm trying for, to get to the point of saying. And that's to do with, you know, how you strike the strings and, you know, which angle you're at and all sorts of things. And then pitch-wise, you know, it's the C, it's the low. If you're playing a C chord, it's really making sure you're hearing the C. So let's try it, and I'll just get you to have a little work with this. And if you already do loads of these, then you can make whatever you want to out of it. So we're going to do it on it's actually showing on an A minor chord there. Don't do any C chords there, doesn't matter. Okay, it's on an F chord, it's fine, we'll do it on F. Okay, so I'm going to just teach this foundation, okay, but fast, because I have no idea whether you guys already do this, then you're watching this. So don't do it really slowly or really fast. So anyway, okay. We want to play an F chord, okay? We want to play F, A, and C as a strum, okay? So for a moment, put your right hand on F, A, and C. We're going to use the left hand's job is going to be that it's going to stop the other strings that we don't want to hear ringing, okay? It's like literally the stopper, it's the guard, it's the protector, it's the thing that's going to arrest the movement of the strings. So your left hand's going to go either side of the chord you want, okay? So we've got F, A, and C here as the chord you want. So start with your fourth ring in the left, one note lower than the string you want to play, because we want the F, so we're going to be on the E. Sorry, if we want the F, and we're going to start one lower, then the left will be on the E. Then the next gap is the G, so you're going to go on the G with the left. The next gap is a B, so you're going to go on the B, and then the one above C is the D, okay? So the left hand, sorry if that was confusing, I'll say it in a different way now. You're going to go on E, G, B, and D with the left. Now, if you look at those two hands now, hopefully you didn't let go of the right. If you did, put the right back in on F, A, and C. They're interlaced, aren't they? They're interlocking, where they're playing a string, then the other string, one a string, another string. So let's take off the right now. So now what we've got is we've got the left hand holding the strings that we don't want to hear, and then we've got empty, loose, not loose, unencumbered, I don't know if that's the right word or not, strings here, strings that are not being touched, okay? And then we're going to strum them. And my biggest tip for strummed chords is keeping your wrist relaxed, and of course it depends what you're doing. If I'm doing more of a flamenco kind of style, I would hold the wrist still, but for what I'm asking you to do today, try and keep the wrist really relaxed, just shake it now, shake your wrist. Okay, and then for percussive, when I really want that kind of like digging in for something really lively, I'm keeping the fingers together as a unit rather than spreading them out, because spreading them out can be wonderful, okay? But for a sharp sort of rhythmic, like a guitar strumming, hard strumming, I'm doing it like that, and I can hold all my fingers together. And then here's another tip: if you think of the harp string being, if you think of the top of the string being like the position of the 12 on a clock, and the bottom being like the position of a 6, and then imagine the circle coming out either side of your harp, okay, of the clock, then I hold my fingers quite straight for this type of strum, and my knuckles are pointing at about 2 o'clock on the clock face, okay, on the imaginary clock face, yeah, okay. And then accenting wise, there's accenting, between the strums, but there's also the fact that within the 3 notes you're after, if you're playing an F chord, and it's in root for sure, then you really want the F to be the strongest, the most prominent note, don't you? So lean into it. I almost think of myself, you can't because the string's in the way, but I almost think of it kind of going in at an angle. So it's like lighter, stronger. So the hand is kind of going in, sort of, not in a straight line. It's not that I'm hitting the strings and going straight. I'm imagining I'm kind of going slightly in at a sharp, I can't think of the right word for that, but I need a compass measurement, I need a protractor, and to give you a measurement there, I won't, I'm not going to, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to try to hit the F. Whoops, not like that. And I always think you can check this by singing the note, so mine sounds slightly out of tune, but and just check that you're really hitting that lowest note. If you are, then you're going to be hearing the chord. So that's one of the ways of accenting in strummed chords. And the other one is the fact that if you're going down in this particular way I'm showing you, there are so many different amazing ways of doing strummed chords. But in this particular way, if you then backstroke just by brushing your fingers up the strings, then you get hard, soft, loud, soft, okay? And so if we then did that, 1 and 2. Can you hear that rhythm? 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and I know I'm doing that super fast, I'll slow it down now, but I'm doing that 1, trying to hit the F, 1, and then I'm doing up, and 2, and then back down, and, because I want the and to be strong for the rhythm we've been working on today, and then I'm going to go up again, 3, and then down for 4, and then up for and. So it's going to be down, down, and 2, down, 4, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then you can, once you've got that kind of sorted, then you can speed it up as well, can't you? So even within the strummed chords, well, not even within anything, then, these accentings will really, really help. So there we are. That brings me to the end of everything I wanted to show you through on when the time was right, when the time is right, I should say. And if I just bring up one more time the video to just very briefly go over this, then you can see at the beginning, you're going to see the example. It's the strum chord, accenting. You hear that loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft, soft, loud, soft, or harsh, soft, soft, half, soft, soft, harsh, kind of harsh. So you hear that, and then you can hear that thumb accenting. So you can hear the accenting through that melody, dum dum da da da, and then what's happening here? We've got some levering. Okay, I'm just going to record. There's that rhythm. Da, 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 da. And if you listen to the loop, I'm not actually playing it right now, but you can hear that bass line, dum 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 ba dum. So you can hear all of Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much once again for having me be part of this special series. I've been Shelley Fairplay, and if you want to find out more about me, you can go and check out my page, fairplayharpschool.com. Thank you once again. Thank you and goodbye.
This project is partially supported by grants from the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation Community Partnership Program, the Louisiana Division of the Arts, Office of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, Louisiana State Arts Council. Funding is also provided by the National Endowment for the Arts, the St Tammany Parish Commission on Cultural Affairs, and Kamak Harps. It is produced by the New Orleans and North Shore chapters of the American Harp Society. The producer is Patrice Fisher. Videos were shot by the artist and edited by Carlos Valladares. You can make a donation to help us continue this series through PayPal to nochapterahs@gmail.com.